Hey everyone, today I'll be doing the review on the new Mazda RX-7 FC. I would have liked to got this review out earlier, but unfortunately they made some changes, so I have to redo the video with those included changes. So basically I'll be going over the cosmetics, the engine, the driving style, and what I think about the car basically. Let's first dig into the cosmetics of the car. Alrighty, the main focus in terms of cosmetics is the BN body kit, which I have equipped along with some other modifications as well. So for the side skirts, there's the BN Sports kit. For the taillights, there's the taillights I think most people are accustomed to, but there's also the stock ones, which I don't think look as nice. For the front bumper, there's a lot of options actually. There's a stock with a couple other options, the Fujita and the BN Sports as well. Now for the rear bumper, it's just stock with the BN Sports. For the front bumper, it's stock BN Sports. Rear bumper, same thing. Now for the doors, there's the BN Sports along with the stock as well. And for the mirrors, there is something new, which is the Grenador wing mirrors. I don't actually have them equipped because I'm not personally a fan of them, but I'm glad that they're starting to add new things like that into the game. Now for the roof, there is nothing for the roof, unfortunately. And for the spoiler, there's just the standard assortment of spoilers. I would have liked to see an option for no spoiler at all, like some cars like the R34 I have, but this one doesn't have that yet, unfortunately. And that's pretty much it for the modifications of this car. So let's hop into the performance and the engine of this car. Now this is where they made the big change for this car. So before it was a naturally aspirated car, so you could put a twin turbo kit on it, but now it is just normally twin turboed. So when you put a twin turbo kit, it doesn't add any additional horsepower. So that brings your max horsepower engine, max horsepower for this engine down to 608. I can't remember what it was before. If I find it, I'll let you guys know. However, with everything race equipped for this car, you get 608 horsepower at 7,700 RPM. Now, unfortunately, I think there is a bug with all cars going on right now, where weight reduction doesn't actually do anything. You purchase it, the weight doesn't change at all. And I think that goes the same with the brakes, because I got those both refunded because of some issue that was going on. So I think those are just having some issues right now. So the weight should be lower than what it is right now. That's pretty much it for the engine for this car. And overall, I think this car has plenty of horsepower for the weight of this car, especially once they fix the weight reduction thing that's going on right now. And as for suspension, this is the setup I've been using while I've been testing out this car, and what I think is pretty good. So for the front height, I have 0.42, rear height is 0.4. Front camber is -5, rear camber is -3.5, front offset is 0.12, and rear offset is 0.11. And this just reduces some of the flicking that this car has when it goes into corners. It'll just like overturn, which isn't very nice, and I think this setup kind of fixes that. But speaking of driving styles, let's go ahead and see what this car drives like. Now, in my opinion, if you are a fan of the 180SX, especially if you have an RB swapped 180SX, this car will be very familiar for you. It has around the same amount of horsepower, albeit the engine is a little bit different in terms of how it delivers that power, but it kind of just holds lines extremely well. You just kind of guide the car through the corner. It's very easy, especially with the setup I'm using. I will say if you're using this car stock with no engine mods, no suspension, no nothing, even if you have engine mods and you're using the stock suspension setup, you're not going to have a good time. This car is not going to handle very well. So make sure you get a good setup on this car, whether it be mine or you find your own. Now I will say in terms of tricks, you really won't be able to do much, especially if you plan on doing any reverse drifting. This car is not a big fan of that, I will say. Now, if you just want to do like a reverse entry into a corner, you could do that pretty easily, but if you just want to do a reverse drift around a lap, you can't really do that in this car. It's probably down to being a rotary and not having that much torque, so it doesn't hold it very well, but I'll just show an example. I'm trying to do some reverse drifting right now. You can kind of hold it, but then you kind of lose it, and it's not very good. It's not very nice at all, especially compared to using a chaser, which is my preferred reverse drifting car. You can, however, do 360s, like so. It's pretty easy, pretty basic, just like any car. Just the reverse drifting you can't really do, which is unfortunate. I'd say this car is perfect if you just want to tandem with your friends and hold lines together, because it holds lines fantastically. Driving style is perfect for anyone just looking to relax and knock down some easy points. Now, it's important to say that if you are a new player, this car probably isn't for you. I'd say this car is for someone who has a decent amount of money and is just working on their lines, because you really need to put money into this car and have a good setup and know what you're doing before you can really do well in this car. So if you're a new player, I'd say just avoid this one for now, especially if you don't have a lot of money. But in terms of my overall thoughts for the car, I think it is probably the best car in the update. I think it has the best modifications in terms of cosmetics. I like the engine. It's a rotary. I think it's probably the best looking car in terms of how they did on it. It's kind of personal preference, but I really like the car. And in terms of driving style, I think it is probably one of the smoothest cars in the game. And I'm still learning this car, learning to get smooth lines with it. But overall, I think it is probably the best car in the update. So yeah, that's pretty much it for my thoughts on this car. I'll just leave you guys with some footage of some tandems in this car with some random guy that I found.